everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am super excited to share with all of you my initial impressions of the makeup that I hauled in Japan. So if you want a full video of everything I hauled, definitely check out my original haul video. It is very long and goes into a lot of things other than makeup as well, including skincare and homeware. For this video, I'm going to do a full face using the products that I hauled other than the Suqqu haul and the Clé de Peau haul, because those are items I think I'm going to film separate videos on. So if you're interested in that, definitely let me know and I will prioritize that for a future video. But for today's video, it's kind of like all the hodgepodge other stuff that I picked up. So I'm going to try out this cushion from Missha, this powder foundation from Coke and Dough, this eyeshadow and this concealer palette. And then I have a lot of liners and mascara and even this eyelash heater to try out. So if you guys are interested in any of these products, then just stick around. So to start off, I'm actually going to go ahead and prime my eyes because I like to have that done in advance so that by the time I reach eyeshadow, the primer has really settled down. This is my favorite primer at the moment, which is the Pat McGrath primer. I use it in all of my recent videos. And now let's get into this Missha foundation. So I got this early on in my trip before I realized I'd be picking up the Clé de Peau and Suqqu foundations. So in hindsight, this really wasn't necessary, but I was picking up a re-up of my Mole cushion foundation. This is basically my all-time favorite cushion currently. And I saw this next to it and it had all of this like #1 stuff on it. So I figured I would give it a shot to see how it compares. I got this in the shade 21. There were very few shades in store. I think actually maybe just this one shade. So I'm guessing this might not be the appropriate shade for me, but we'll see. This is their Magic Cushion Moisture SPF 50 Plus foundation, and here is what the product looks like inside. You get a decent sized mirror. Okay, here it is without the film, so you can see how nice and clear that mirror is. And this is actually really pretty puff, cute blue and white coloring. And here is the shade. So this will probably be a little bit light for me, but let's try it out. Okay, I think sheared out, it probably will work for me. It has sort of a fresh scent to it. And there were multiple kinds of this cushion, so they had a few different types that I think are just, how much coverage and how dewy the finish is. This one I think is the relatively dewy one with lighter coverage, so we'll see how this looks. Yeah, just a little bit on the face definitely is pretty light in coverage. But let's see how much we can build this up. It definitely feels very moisturizing applied to the skin, but I will say built up, it's starting to look a little bit light for me, which I anticipated, but let me try to just keep it not too heavy. I don't want this to make me look like I'm a ghost. All right, so there we have kind of 2 thin layers on this side of my face and nothing on this side of my face. I think ideally I would like a little bit more coverage, but I do have that concealer palette, so we'll see how that looks. Upon initial application, I would say it definitely feels more watery and moisturizing than the Mole or the Tier. For context, I'm not a huge fan of the Tier one. I find that one's a little bit hard to blend in. This one is definitely easier to blend in than that one, but not as easy as my Mole. It also is lighter than the Mole, so there's that. But this is also a pretty inexpensive product, so that's another factor. I think this was like around $10, which is pretty cheap for a foundation product. And wow, I am looking super, super white right now. This is always the issue with Japanese and Korean makeup products for me. They're so brightening. Like I don't even have like a deep skin tone. I'm sort of like light medium in Western cosmetics, but man, nothing like going to East Asia to make you feel like you have really deep skin in comparison to the products they offer. Whew, oh wow. Okay, I think that's enough of that for now. I'm definitely going to need to contour after this. Before we get into that, let's get into this concealer. So this is from a brand called Timage or Timage. I've actually never heard of them before, but basically I was really attracted to their store display. This product just looked so cute. Like, look, isn't this such adorable packaging? It really has that sort of like jade effect to it. This is made in China, but it seems to be a Japanese brand since all of the text on the packaging is in Japanese. Either that or it's a Chinese brand and they just translated everything in coming over. And this comes with 4 different components. Let me actually translate this. Okay, so this one says light base, and then that one is beige, this one is salmon, and this is like a little blank space for you to mix colors together. So to try this out, I'm actually going to use this new Refer brush that I got. So this is their new line of synthetic brushes. Let me actually just show you guys the full line. So they actually gifted these to me, which is very nice. I'm not used to receiving free products, so this is a rarity for me, but yeah, really nice looking, very chic black brushes. I have been enjoying Refer's recent releases, and I basically own all of their brushes. So I'm excited to see how this performs. So I'm going to start out with this more color correcting shade and put this under the eyes. Hopefully this isn't like too deep in comparison to this very light foundation. Okay, that's actually pretty good coverage in and of itself. I did get it a little bit dirty already, but let's also put some around my nose where I've got some redness. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the beige shade and put this on my pimple over here. Okay, and then I'm going to take some of the light shade and just go over the salmon shade under the eyes. And then also bring this under the brow bone just to make everything a bit more uniform in color. And that actually worked pretty well. I also do really like this brush. It reminds me a lot of my A506 from BK Beauty, which is my current favorite concealer brush. So that's a good sign. Taking a little bit more of the beige shade, I'm just gonna kind of go through the rest of my face, anywhere I have some pigmentation, just try to cover all that up. Okay, pretty nice. And I also like that this doesn't really soak into the brush much, like you don't see that much product left on it. Very nice first impression, and the concealer is sitting very nicely, and it did a good job of covering up my dark circles, which is great. So for a completely random purchase from a brand I've never heard of, this is actually a really nice first impression. So normally I wouldn't go in with powder foundation over what is already like kind of decent coverage foundation, but I do want to try this out. So I'm going to do that today. So this comes in 2 separate boxes because it's a refillable packaging. So the actual product looks like this. I got this in shade 123, which is the same shade that I have for their foundations. I have both their aqua and their moisture foundations and would highly recommend it. The moisture foundation is my top foundation of 2024. And this powder is actually SPF 30, interestingly enough. So I wouldn't like rely on this as your sole SPF, but it's nice that there is some protection in there. And this is what the case looks like. It has a bit of a vent there as well. And then you just press the button here and it opens and it looks like this. Oh, and the mirror even says Kogundo. So that's very cute. And here's the little puff it comes with. So when you take this out, there is that like sticky stuff at the bottom. And so that way you can just directly pop it in here. And I guess ideally push it down. Let me see. Okay, taking that bigger brush, I'm gonna just press on this now and just push it in. So hopefully that stays. Let's see. Yep, that seems to stay in place. Today I'm gonna use this brush instead of this sponge because I think the sponge will give probably too high a coverage considering I already have some foundation on my face. So I'm just gonna put this all over, and this is nicely mattifying my face now, which is great. And also this is bringing some more color to my face, which is nice as well. So 1, 2, 3 is my true shade match, unlike the shade 21 in the Missha. So I am very happy about that. And what's nice about using a powder foundation instead of like a translucent setting powder is that you don't lose any coverage as you are applying the product. Definitely a more full coverage day than I was anticipating when I started this video, but I think this is looking pretty nice. It's not looking heavy. Everything is looking pretty natural together. Oh, I just love Kogan Do products so much. Super excited to have this in my collection, even as someone who doesn't use powder foundation that much. So I went off camera to do my brows and also to curl my lashes because next up we're going to go into eyes. So I have this cute little eyeshadow over here that I bought in Kanazawa. So this is a town that is famous for its gold leaf, and I bought a lot of gold leaf products there. And this is an eyeshadow from a brand called Chaya Cosme. And this is made in Japan. So I was really excited to try this out. It looks really, really beautiful. Super pretty gold color there. So bringing you guys in, I'm gonna try this with these two new brushes from Rephr. These are the Shoto 1 and Shoto 4. So these were also gifted to me. I've been using their Shoto line a lot recently. I've been taking it with me traveling and really enjoying it. So I'm excited that they're expanding it. These are basically softer, kind of more luxe brushes with more of a pointy tip to them, so sort of a unique shape. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know I've critiqued Rephr in the past for having like not the softest bristles, but these are really soft. So I would definitely recommend the Shoto line if you've had any issues with prickliness in the past. So I'm gonna first try to just focus this on the outer portion of this eyeshadow, see if I can pick some up. It's a very wet shadow, interesting. It's like almost a cream texture. Huh. So not a whole lot picks up. Let me try going in again and digging in a little bit. Okay, there we go. I'm picking up a little bit of the yellow as well. I guess this is a cream shadow. I did not factor that in when selecting this brush. Very, very light in pigmentation. Let me actually try a denser brush just to see what I can pick up. So this is my Rephr number 12. And I'm gonna again just kind of concentrate it on the outer portion. I'm trying to avoid getting too much of the gold. And I'm just gonna press this in. Yeah, again, very, very light in the pigmentation department. Let's try on this side. And I'm actually realizing as I'm pressing this in, the gold might only be at the very top. Oh no, that's so sad. So did I just pick up a colorless shadow? If it's only this color, that's kind of lame. I mean, pretty color, but still. Okay, let me see if I try to just pick up that top layer. Yeah, okay. Oh, can you guys see? I just disturbed the top and it's basically gone. So, all right, so this is kind of disappointing. Well, let me just sweep this all throughout then, because at this rate, I don't need to be precious, and I'm just gonna sweep this all over the eye. Okay, I think I might have swatched a different one in store. I thought I swatched this one. The one I swatched had two distinct colors, including a really bright gold one. But as you can see, this one just has like that gold leaf on the very top, and the rest is just this like, you know, cream shadow, which is pretty, but very, very subtle. And this brush though is very, very soft and doing a great job. But yeah, I don't really see much from that. Let me just take the smaller brush and take some of this on my lower lash line. It's so creamy that I'm a little worried about the longevity, even though I put on that primer. And it just has these like random gold flecks, which Let me turn down the brightness a little bit. Hopefully you can see. But yeah, it's really not doing that much. Okay, yeah, sorry, I cannot really recommend this, though. I don't know that you can buy this outside of Kanazawa anyway. But yeah, quite disappointing because like I said, I swatched it in store, must have swatched a different one of their eyeshadows. They had two, and I thought I picked the right one to buy, but apparently not. Luckily though, I have a lot of different liners to go in to, you know, define my eyes for this look. So I bought this liner from a brand called Eye Edition. This is their shade 3. And I started using one of them. That's why this one is out of its packaging. And I loved it so much, I picked up the other one. So you advance it like this and you can see it's very, very thin, which I love because it means that you can just really easily get in there in your eyes, especially for tight lining or anything like really close to the lash line. It does an excellent job, and it's a very creamy gel liner, so you don't need to worry about any drag on the eyes. It just makes everything super, super easy. And then also is really great on the lower lash line as well, but awesome for that kind of very precise, no fuss placement. And since there's not much else going on my eyes today, I'm gonna actually smudge this out because I wanna have a little bit more dimension. So I'm just taking a Rephr 2 mini and just sweeping this along my eyes. Running it along the lower lash line too. I feel like the creaminess of that previous shadow is also kind of making all of this sort of blend out very easily, maybe a little bit too easily, but at least we're getting a little bit of dimension in here. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is I'm pretty sure it's not going to last that long because the eyeliner itself is so thin. I feel like I use a decent amount of it every time I use this, which is why I got a second one, but it is quite affordable. So if you are in Japan, I would highly recommend checking this out. This is eyeliner I've been using for a few weeks now because I started using it kind of early in my Japan trip and have been very much enjoying it. It's not as long lasting in the waterline as my sister Anne, which is kind of for me the best waterline eyeliner, but this one's definitely more creamy, so it's easier to zhuzh out if you're doing more of like kind of a smoky look like today. And also the really small size just makes it really nice for more precise work too. I also picked up a bunch of other eyeliners as well. I'm not going to be able to show you all of these, but I thought I'd at least show you the boxes. So here is another pencil liner. This is from the brand Love Liner, and this is more of kind of like an elongated shape. So I'm intrigued how this will work. This is in the shade medium brown. And then I picked up these two liquid eyeliners as well. One from Love Liner again, because this was a highly rated brand. And this one, D Up, I have not tried before. So I think today I'm going to open this one. If you guys have watched my channel for a while, you know I've been very loyal to my M Cosmetics brown brush liner. So this is going to be the first one I've tried out in a while. But I figured if anywhere does good brush liners, it would be Japan. So I'm going to just concentrate this really close to the lash line since we're doing so many different things with my lashes today. This is very nice, very easy to use. I also really like this color. One thing I dislike about a lot of brown liners, especially in the US, and why I'm such a huge fan of the M Cosmetics is that it's more of this dark espresso brown, kind of like a replacement for black. Because like a lot of the eyeliners in the US that are brown are more like a warm brown, and I find that's just like not very flattering on me. So I like this much cooler brown that is basically kind of from a distance looks like a black and performs that purpose, but is a little bit more natural than like a black liner. Whoa. Let me actually see if this can be used to do that sort of inner corner cat eye effect. Okay, not the best, but I think it did a decent job. More of like me kind of getting used to it issue than like an issue with the product per se. But overall, a good first impression of that liner. Now let's get into this mascara. I picked this up because it had this like prize on it. This is the Kingdom Tabakan Curl Mascara. It's a clear black mascara. It's supposed to give you that really doll-like effect. And it does say W-proof, which I assume means waterproof. And I'm gonna also use this with this lash curler that I picked up. So for context, I pretty much never use mascara normally because I find it just does nothing for me. Like my lashes are still not visible, but I figured maybe if I curl my lashes like with a heated curling wand, that might change. So I've actually tried using this a couple times without any mascara, and it does not work at all on my lashes without mascara. But the instructions say to first apply mascara and then use this. So that's what I'm gonna try today. So basically you flip this open, it's like a safety feature, and then you press this button over here, and then the wand kind of pops out and starts heating up. If you put this back in, then it will cool down. And sorry, that wasn't fully out, so this is what it looks like basically. And so right now it's still kind of cool, but you can feel it starting to heat up. So I'm gonna put that on my desk while I coat my lashes, which as I mentioned, I curled right before starting this, so they're starting to fall a little bit, but they're still mostly curled. So hopefully this does something. I did get some falsies as well in Japan, but I'm not going to use those today because I feel like we've got enough going on in the lash department. But yeah, already the curl is falling, which is so sad. This is the story of my life with lashes. They just are never visible. The mascara did push them up a little bit, which is nice. So now let me see if I go in with this. And now it is warm, so I'm gonna just try my best to really push the lashes upward. See if this can sort of seal them into place. I did try this technique yesterday, but I didn't curl my lashes first, and it worked like so-so. Like my lashes were basically sticking outwards straight the whole day, which is like, I guess more curled than they normally are, but not actually visible still. Oh, okay. I feel like on this side you can sort of see them. Huh, interesting. Alrighty, for a first time doing it with all the steps, this is actually pretty good. And for context, I was really scared when I bought this that I would burn my eyes because, you know, you're putting like a hot metal rod near them. But there is enough like protection on this. Like, I don't know if you guys can see, it's basically encased in this plastic so that it doesn't actually hurt your eyes at all. Like I feel like I'm able to like basically touch it even to my tight line and it doesn't feel painful at all. Alrighty, actually, that looks pretty good for me. I know this is like not impressive at all to anybody else, but I feel like this is actually like the best I've gotten from my lashes. So let's see if this actually holds throughout the day. So put it back, you just press the button, push it in, and then lock it into place there, and this will start cooling down. And this uses a AAA battery right here. So the last new product from my Japan haul that I'm going to demo with you guys today is this Moisture Glaze lipstick from Suqqu. For context, I've been absolutely in love with this formula all year. I love shade 3, which is the one I use every single day. It's like my favorite lipstick. So I picked up shade 8 and shade 6 in my recent haul. I'm going to use shade 6 in my Suqqu haul video since I think that's going to match the color story there better, whereas this one I think will match today's color story. One swipe is sort of sheer. That's one swipe on the top and bottom. This is sort of the burnt orange red shade. And here it is built up. And you can just see how beautifully moisturizing this formulation is. That's why I love so much about this. It basically just feels like lip gloss, lip balm on your lips. It's really easy to apply. You don't even need to look in the mirror, and just kind of like put some on, rub your lips together, you're good to go. And it's really long lasting considering how moisturizing it is. So even though I'm totally swimming in lipsticks, I had to pick up a couple more of these because I just use this on an everyday basis. In terms of the shade, it's definitely less flattering on me than shade 3, which is more of a coral pink shade, and I find that one is absolutely perfect, especially for the springtime, but it's also sheer enough that it brings some life into any look. This one is definitely more of like kind of a mature fall vibe, but I think this is a great complementary shade and good for a look like the one I have today. So to finish off today's look, I do feel like I need some more color on the rest of my face. So these are sort of like new-ish products that I'm going to put on, and I'm going to use these rougher brushes to demo. So there's still like, something new to show you guys. But I'm going to first go in with this Dior contour stick. This is my absolute favorite contour stick by far. Since I got this, I basically have been using this as my exclusive contour. I've actually stopped using powders recently, which is, kind of crazy for me because I'm usually much more of a powder person than a cream person. But this is just so easy to use, so easy to blend out. Today I'm really challenging this because I'm putting this on top of powder, which normally I do all of my creams and liquids first for maximum blendability. I kind of forgot about these until now, and so that's why I'm doing things out of order. So far this is going on super smoothly, and I'm using this LC2 brush from Refer. And this reminds me a lot of my BK Beauty 109 brush, which is my all-time favorite brush for cream and liquid blushes, contours, basically anything on the cheeks. So it's a very similar shape to that. So that's definitely a positive comparison. And now for blush, I have a few to try out. So I have this Spice Latte from Danessa Myricks. So this is kind of new-ish to my collection. I forget if I've actually demoed it with you guys, but I figure this is like the same color as the lipstick. So I think this will go really well. And the Danessa Myricks blush works well over powder too. So I figure this is kind of a no-brainer. This is like my favorite cream blush of the year because it's just so easy to use. You can make it very pigmented or very sheer, and as you can see, it just leaves a really nice like satin matte finish, which I find on most days is kind of what I'm going for. So that adds just a beautiful bit of burnt orange color. Now I do want a little bit more glow today though, so I'm gonna go in with this Suqqu melting powder blush. I have this in shade You Buy. I love this formula. It's my all-time favorite powder blush formula. They've actually discontinued it, which is very sad to me, but I bought like all the ones I could get my hands on before they discontinued it. I realize though I haven't featured this much on my channel. I don't know if I've actually shown you guys this shade, so I'm going to just take a little bit of it today and just mix it on top, using that same brush, which I have wiped off because I definitely don't want anything bad to happen to this blush. But this is a very bright orange shade, and what I love about this formula is it just leaves more of kind of a subtle sheen to the face. It is definitely not flat matte, but it's very easy to blend in. Sort of like a hybrid between a powder and a cream formulation. And normally I would definitely just leave things here, but since we are testing out this brush, let me actually also go into my Westman Atelier Mimi blush. This will also just add a little bit more dewiness to the face. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of that and also just kind of stamp this along the high points of my cheek. Same on this side. I find that this blush doesn't stay that well in terms of pigmentation, but it does have a really beautiful like glow to it. And so that's what I'm kind of going for today. Just like almost using it more like a subtle highlight. Alrighty, so here we have the final look. What do you guys think? So zooming out, I am overall really pleased with this Japan haul. Basically everything other than the eyeshadow was a major hit today, which actually kind of surprised me. So like with the Missha foundation, it's actually looking really, really good. So of course I'm gonna have to try this without the Kogan powder foundation because, you know, I love Kogan, so I figure that the Kogan is probably also helping a lot. But this combo is actually really, really great. There's still that kind of subtle glow to it, but it's not like too blindingly white like it started out. And also like the finish is nicely set, but still kind of like dewy, so I love that. And the concealer is looking really nice as well. I'm seeing really minimal creasing under my eyes, like I haven't had to really touch things up, and it's looking great around my nose and mouth as well. So very impressed. And I did check, this is actually a Chinese makeup brand. In terms of the eyes, I already know I love that eyeliner, and I think today it's doing a great job just to add a little bit more of that smudgy definition. The liquid liner is also looking really great and was super, super easy to use. The mascara was very easy to use as well. I do feel like the curl is starting to fall a little bit, but overall my lashes do look a lot better than they normally do, and this was a surprisingly easy look to achieve. The mascara also definitely overall leaves a pretty natural look, so I didn't have any issues of clumping or anything. It just very finely coated my lashes, so that was nice. And then the lip product, I mean, I knew I would love this. I love this formula so much. Like I said, not the most flattering color on me, I think, compared to the other one, but I think it really matches with the dress I have on today, and it just feels really great. And then all these cheek products I have tried before, know and love, so that's nothing new. Would definitely recommend all of those. In terms of these brushes, I really, really enjoyed my first experience with these liquid brushes from Refer. Like, these are definitely on par with my BK Beauty ones in terms of quality, at least in initial impressions. And I feel like they did a really good job blending out the product, even though this was kind of a more challenging circumstance putting them on top of powder. I also especially enjoyed that this one is just a little bit smaller than the BK Beauty equivalent, so for like nose contour, which normally I would not use my A506 for, but I feel like this one did a super, super good job at that. So that's great, because for me that's often a pain point, like having a really nice nose contour with a brush. For these two brushes from the Shoto collection, I'll definitely need to try them out with a different makeup look. I feel like today was not a really great way to make them shine. I mean, they did a good job, but this eyeshadow is kind of a nothing eyeshadow. It's not really, you know, I think this is really meant to be applied probably with a finger, just as a very quick one and done. So the brushes did admirably, but you know, this was not really that interesting. So I'll have to feature these in a video where I'm actually doing a more detailed powder eyeshadow look. I think that's where these will shine more. Like I said, I have been using the other ones in this collection and really enjoying them, so I do have high hopes for these. But that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!